So why is it everyone else gets the imagined names in this movie except the main characters? No, just me that bothered? Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Wait, the what names?
I said, how is it everyone else had creative, imaginative names except for the main characters?
I yeah, you're right.
Like, this is the Cornelius Bitterbottom, and this is the Scarlet whatever, but here's Mr. Wolf.
No, Mr. Poodleton.
Oh, okay. So I was making a name up. The fact that it was kind of close is actually kind of impressive. All
At
right.
least that was one of his aliases.
Sure. Sorry about that, everybody. It's been a weird day. So yeah, we saw The Bad Guys, which is the latest DreamWorks film that just came out last week. We're a little behind on stuff. We're slowly catching back up. Well, we're getting there. We're making progress. I will say, like, I don't know if you've had the experience of DreamWorks films, but they're always very hard to predict where they're going to come, like how they're going to be when they come out because the trailers always suck. Do you feel that way too, or is it just me? Uh,
About excuse me, about DreamWorks films always sucking.
no, like the DreamWorks trailers always sucking.
I hadn't really given it that much thought, but now that you mention it, I do feel that the trailers do not properly showcase what their movies actually are.
That was a very political way of putting it, but yes, that's basically what I'm saying. Yeah, because like I know, like I remember the Kung Fu Panda, great film series. All three of them are bangers, but the trailers for every single one of them make them look like absolute garbage. Uh, just bottom dwelling kids movies. And then you have Home, which legitimately sucked and had equally shitty trailers. Uh, and then, of course, you had the How to Train Your Dragon movies, the first two, which were absolutely goddamn phenomenal. But again, the trailers make it look like ass.
I like the third one too.
I think it's okay, but it's not as good as the first two.
Fair enough.
But so like whenever any one of these comes out, I have to keep that in my mind. It's like, oh, this trailer looks so bad, but it could still be good. I don't know. So,
I I do like the Billie Eilish song they used in the trailer. That said, after seeing the trailer so many times, I am glad that the they didn't use that song in the movie itself.
you just
With
kind of like, which is kind of apropos of the problem I'm talking about, though, is because all the trailers are very much like these are the things kids like these days. So we're just gonna put all that in the trailer. It's gonna make it look really obnoxious. And then you get the action movies like, no, here's like an actual like nuance, like not necessarily deep, but like still like mature enough approach to this topic. Yada yada yada, and like okay, that looked nothing like what I was promised by the trailer. So where I'm
I was
getting at with all of that in comparison to this movie is actually I had a good time with this movie.
okay. I was curious if if you had a good time with it. I did too.
Yeah, it
But
was fun. Like it wasn't groundbreaking, it wasn't amazing, but like I think I was talking with Chris about it yesterday because he was asking about it. It's like, where would you kind of put it in like between like Shrek, Kung Fu Panda, and How You Train Your Dragon? It's like probably like a higher echelon between Shrek and Kung Fu Panda, really. Uh,
I think so. That's fair.
yeah.
And funny enough, I had a better theater experience watching this in the middle of the day than I did watching The Lost City
Oh
in
yeah.
in the middle of that particular weekday that week. So I guess the younger children are better behaved than older children these
Yeah,
days.
that sounds about right, honestly. That's been my experience. We don't give kids enough credit, really. But yeah, so like this is a pretty fun, like I don't want to say standard heist movie because like they're like it's you can see all the twists coming from a mile away. It's not exactly hard to predict.
Yes,
Um,
even I was able to spot at least the the main twist.
Yeah.
And I'm not usually good at spotting twists, but there is a particular character who has a very opulent lifestyle, and this character is very charitable. Uh,
And
and
then you mean like, I don't think it's giving away that much of a spoiler. Going, yeah, that's the villain. Like, I think it's pretty
exactly,
obvious to
I
anyone that knows film structure. But
I don't know about you, but I haven't met many people that live that lavishly and are that genuinely good of people.
yeah, like that, all this ultra rich guy who is conveniently talking about charity work and being a good person. He's the bad guy. Oh, I never heard that before.
Mm-hmm.
That's a new concept. Anyway, but that's not really the point. The point is the fact that you have like Sam Rockwell with Mark Maron and everyone else on like little crew, and they're dynamic together, and they do have a very fun dynamic. It's like the animation is very anime mixed with Steven Universe, which works
Different
well.
textures, which I appreciated from a visual standpoint.
Yeah, so like it is kind of interesting seeing the kind of transition we're making animation wise from more like ultra realistic 3D to something that's kind of a blend to like a bit more cartoonish, less realistic, but still having realistic textures.
Yes.
So this one kind of feels like it's definitely the trend center in that direction, where it's more focused on having fluid movement as opposed to having like hyper realistic actions, which is kind of interesting if you like from that perspective. So in the vein of that, this movie does have a lot going on at any given moment. It is very entertaining to watch.
It's not overly long. It goes at a good clip. It doesn't overstay its welcome.
It is nice to see a movie that actually respects your time in this day
Yes.
right now, because I
Oh
was getting
God,
tired of
yes.
like everything being 2.5 fucking hours long. I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, you know what? Clean hour and 45. I respect that. I like that. It's good, just
Yes.
long enough. And everyone's clearly having a good time here. Like, I appreciate what I can only guess was a Pulp Fiction montage at the beginning of the film, where it has like the two main characters, which is Wolf and Snake. Which again, I don't know where in down the line like that's like, all right, we're just gonna go with that, and everyone else is gonna get more elaborate names. That's one of those small things that only bothers me. But I know it doesn't matter, so I'm not gonna like I'm not gonna say it hurts the movie, but it is weird.
I wasn't bothered by that when I was watching it, but I found the name of uh, the main villain a little ridiculously distracting at points. It's like, oh, this guy has a British type accent. What do British people like? Let's give him a last name after something British people like.
See, that is so fascinating how like different annoyances at the names branch so drastically apart. That is intensely fascinating to me in one days. I want to explore that further for the sake of.
I mean, that's a minor nitpick on
Oh
my
yeah,
part,
so is mine, but it's still
but
very funny. Like
I did find that a little distracting.
I just, it's so funny that I'm annoyed by the oversimplicity of the main character name, and you're annoyed by the overcomplexity.
Well, I just kind of felt
completely
like
opposite direction.
it was a bit on the nose.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the whole movie's on the nose. Like
Fair.
this is pretty much the Rick and Morty parody heist episode, where it's like, son of a bitch, I'm in. Like stereotypical heist movie, which is not a bad thing. I enjoy a good heist movie every now and
I do
again.
too. I actually like the 2000s remake of the Italian Job. I think that's a fun heist film. I know Steve McQueen was in the original, but every once in a while, just a little silly, campy thievery can be fun to watch.
Yeah, and like this is kind of where that ballpark where this works. Like the conversation, the characters are fun. A lot of them feel very fluid, very natural. And again, that's what I'm talking about, like the Pulp Fiction reference in the beginning, because it opens with them in a diner talking about some random bullshit. And then it cuts to like, all right, you ready to rob this place? All right, let's rob this place. I was like, okay, I get the tone they're going for. All right, fair enough.
Oh, they were Honey Bunny and
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
got it. Okay,
because Pulp Fiction opened the same way, so I was like, okay, this is a Pulp Fiction homage. Um, so like, it's pretty straightforward. Like this isn't a terribly complex movie. The moral is very on the nose, but still works well enough. The character arcs well enough that you do root for these characters, you get behind them. Um,
It has a pretty good soundtrack,
the
and
soundtrack's pretty bitchin'.
yes, and funny enough, they didn't use the Billie Eilish song that you hear throughout the trailer.
No, like that's actually a good point to bring that up because I did kind of appreciate like this movie has what like a lot of other movies like to have, which is like the obligatory dance sequence that seems to be like in every kids movie. But I kind of appreciate that this one was actually kind of more classy.
Yes.
Like there was like, okay, we're not doing like pop, like current favorite pop music. We're doing like, okay, let's go like old school jazz. Let's get some of that shit in there.
Yeah, that kind of made me bop in my chair a little.
Yeah, it's like let's get some of that like 70s funk in there. I dug the shit out of that. I was down
Me too.
for that. So like that's actually a good way to put that. Now I'm talking about it. It's like this movie kind of has like a 70s feel to it in a weird way. Mixed with some like hyper energy like anime kind of animation, particularly with like the police chief and all her cronies.
Did you notice that she was voiced by the actress who plays Susie Meyerson on Marvelous Mrs. Maisel?
I did not notice that, but that's a good that is a good casting.
I was listening to her do her soliloquy towards the end, and I thought, wait a second, that speech pattern sounds like Susie.
Yeah, I can see that now that you mention it. But I think one thing I did appreciate, this movie does carry a bit of self-awareness out almost of the simplicity of it. It almost kind of makes fun of the simplicity of it to an extent. There's one joke in particular I want to talk about later because it goes into spoilers, but that was part I like almost peed myself laughing. It's like, oh my God, that's a great. And I did laugh quite a bit at this, which is like, all right, cool. I'm having fun. But it's very much like, yeah, we like immediately know what the moral is going to be. Don't judge a book by its cover. Like, don't judge based on stereotypes, yada, yada, yada. Good moral to have. Nothing wrong with it. You know exactly where it's going. But based on that, you can tell every beat that's going to happen.
Yes.
Again, which isn't inherently bad. It's still executed well. But I did appreciate when it did poke jabs of just how blatant it is.
Oh, with a news reporter?
Yeah, let's spoiler alert from here on. I already know we already spoiled quite a bit, but for this is a great joke and I love it. I thought it was great. So the basic plot of the movie, for those who don't know, if you haven't seen the trailer for this, whatever, is that there's this gang of criminal, like master thieves that are like Mr. Wolf, Piranha, Shark, Tarantula, so on and so forth. But they get egged on to do this big heist by this new mayor who's a fox, and I bet you can't guess where that's going. But the minute they said, the Scarlet Palm tried to take it, they didn't catch her. Yeah, but she also never robbed anything again. It's like, oh, yep, it's the mayor.
Well, I think she's the governor, actually.
Was the governor?
I think so.
Either or, doesn't matter. Some political figure.
Governor Foxington.
But anywho, of course they get captured and then they get taken in by this wealthy philanthropist who says like, I can reform these criminals because I am a rich, nice person. So again, you mean like, okay, yeah, he's the villain.
Yeah. And may I say what his name was?
Go very well. Go ahead.
He's Professor Marmalade. He's a freaking guinea pig with a British accent, and his name is Professor Marmalade.
All right, they was Marmalade because I kept thinking of Paddington. I forgot about that.
That's why I was saying, oh, this character's gonna have a British accent. What do British people like?
Marmalade. Okay, that's fair. I could see that's still valid. I completely forgot about it, so it didn't bother me that much. But I see where you're coming from.
It wasn't that distracting, but just a little.
Just enough. I get it. I understand. But eventually, of course, you have the third act heel turn where it turns out that they're still like pretending to be good, so that way they can steal it in this big heist. But then Wolf actually does start to become good, and he likes being good, so he chickens out the last minute. But oh no, the stuff still happens, and they take the fall. And the part where I kind of appreciate.
They're basically set up.
Yeah, they're set up to be patsies, and it turns out it's the evil hamster, a guinea pig that did it all along. It's like, okay, fair enough. Like, you knew that was coming. C'est la vie. Still done well. Yes. But the part that made me laugh, like, I laughed because, like, it cuts to, like, them being dragged off in the I don't know what they're called, like, the prison van, whatever. I don't know. And, like, there's this reporter on the news just going, like, well, And that's it, folks. So, like, believe every stereotype you hear. You can judge a book by its cover. People never change, and this night proves it. Thank you all very much. It's like, oh, fuck you. That's funny.
That was pretty cleverly executed. Yeah.
It's like, and it's not even like in the forefront. It's in the background. You can only just kind of hear it, and it's like, all right, that's really fucking funny. And there's bits and bobs of that humor throughout. There's like, okay, this movie knows what it's doing, and that's kind of why it works. It's kind of like we reviewed The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent yesterday, and kind of the same thing, where it's like, you know what?
I haven't seen it yet.
I'm not going to spoil anything. It is worth seeing. Go check it out. You'll love it. But it is very much in the same kind of vein of like, you know, it knows what genre it's in. It's not making fun at the expense of the genre. It's more like
it's also not making fun of its audience.
Yeah, it's not making fun of
child or adult, which I appreciated.
Yeah, like it's not talking down the genre or the audience in any way. If anything, it's a celebration of the genre.
Yes.
But also like being just self-aware to poke fun of itself, which I appreciate. So it feels like it's more like laughing with you than at you, which is like, again, I appreciate.
This is a small thing, but I am a feline enthusiast, so I appreciated that there were a few scenes with a purring kitty.
That definitely falls into the BoJack Horseman problem of like, wait, why are some animals that can talk and why other aren't animals that can't talk? How does that work? That's one of those things you just kind of let it go.
Yeah, well, just like I had to let go that anthropomorphic animals and human characters exist in this same world, and nobody says anything about it.
Yeah, I was like, again, the BoJack Horseman problem.
Yes.
It's kind of like, I think the best scene in the new DuckTales TV show is just when, long story short, there's a Martian on Earth. Just go with it.
Okay, sure.
And she's like trying to understand like how Earth works. And there's a part where like Huey, Dewey, and Louie the Ducks are feeding seagulls at the boardwalk.
Sorry.
And like, no, that's the joke, because like it just has her like looking at the seagulls, looking back at them, and looking her looking back at them. Just I was like, wait, what? How does this work? I don't understand. We're just like, all right, totally fair. Not a word is spoken. It's a great joke. But that's one of those kind of things in this kind of genre of kids movies or TV shows. He's like, all right, whatever. It just is because it is.
Exactly.
And you let it go and you move on. And it's not important in the grand scheme of things. What is important is that the characters work, the story works, it feels very fluid, it goes at a good pace.
Yes.
It still has a good lesson, even if it's a pretty simple one. And there's just enough going on with just enough heart to keep you engaged from beginning to end. So it's a very solid kids movie.
Yes. I completely agree. I had more fun watching this than I expected to.
Yeah, like I feel like I'd like this better if I didn't just watch the Nicolas Cage movie yesterday, because that one like is better. But they're still both good.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't have a lot else to say about it. I really liked it.
Same. I mean, we could dissect the plot, but I'd say it's worth seeing.
Like, yeah, I don't really think we need to. I think, like, pretty much when the movie begins, you can pretty much guess where a lot of it's going to go.
Yes.
But that being said, like, yeah, I don't think we need to go through the plot. I think this movie speaks for itself. And I think whether or not you, like, how much you agree with our opinions, you'll kind of what you'll get out of it. But I think if you're looking for, like, something, it's not good as, like, Kung Fu Panda, but I think it's still, like, better than the first Shrek. This kind of fills in the middle ground.
I'd say it's... for me, I would put it just under Shrek 2.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good, very similar tone to Shrek 2, actually, now when you put it like that. Yeah, so if you like Shrek 2, you'll probably like this movie, because it does have that same bound, like, very energetic, boom, 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 joke, kind of approach to it. So, yeah, you got anything else you want to throw in there?
I think we've covered all of it.
All right, cool. So the last movie from last week to cover that we still need to cover is the Northman, the Viking movie. Northman, I think it's called.
Yes, directed by the director of The Witch and The Lighthouse.
Yes, that's the one.
I realized that all three of his films thus far have titles that start with the word "the."
I
The
mean,
Witch, The Lighthouse, The Northman.
if it ain't broke,
Fair enough.
was it
There's
called
just a
The
little
Witch or
something.
just Witch? I thought it was just Witch.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I'll look it up later. It doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't. Um I haven't seen it yet. It does look pretty epic. Um
I've heard great things about it. And then, of course, Doctor Strange 2 comes out this week.
yes.
So that'll be the next big thing. I
Yes.
already got my tickets today. So that'll be fun.
I'm tomorrow is my Friday this week. I actually have 2 days off in a row this week, so I'll
Nice.
probably get my tickets on
Yeah, they're
Tuesday.
filling up fast. I really want to jump on that pretty soon. So yeah, we'll cover up either like late this week or early next week, probably, or whenever. I don't know. Life shit right now. So everyone's kind of doing that. Everyone's just trying to survive.
Yeah.
We'll get to it when we get to it. Until then, thank you guys all for watching. I'll see you all later. Bye.